Well, good morning, everybody. It's a wet Monday. Over the weekend we had about 5 inches of snow, and that melted all off yesterday and today. Actually, yesterday we had freezing rain, but this morning we woke up to about 60-degree weather, and it's still about 60 now. And so I took advantage of the wet weather and ran up to Paul Smith's and grabbed my excavator, got that loaded up and brought that home, and we'll get that unloaded. And we'll go down and work on some ditches that we've got to do in the fields. It takes forever with this excavator driving through the field, but we made it here. And as you can see, we do have a lot of water down here with all the snow that melted and all the rain that we've had even so far. It's rained most of the morning, so it's really wet, but I think I can do this job without a problem. Now my goal is to make a ditch and also pull the dirt from the ditch into the field right next to where the fence is going to be, and have a kind of a build-up area there, so when I exercise my horses I can have a spot that's high and dry almost any time of the year. But I got to take all these fence posts out first so that I can work. Baron, Bill, the cuffs out. Oh! Oh! Good morning, everybody. It is April 1st today, and we are back up in Paul Smith's College and logging, And it's just amazing that there's still snow here on April 1st, and not just a little snow, a significant amount still. Well, I got up in here and cut my first tree, and as you know, the saying goes, April 1st is Fool's Day, April Fool's Day. Well, this is no joke. I got this tree hung up. I cut it. Everything seemed fine. I had my wedge going where it should be. I cut my more off my corner that was holding potentially, and I really expected that tree to just fall right down. But there was enough branches up there, as you can see, that it held that tree. So I finished cutting my cut. Hopefully it's all completely cut off at the bottom here, and I'll hitch the horses on and see if we can't pull it down. When I pull down trees, I like to be in the safest place possible, and but I also like to be driving whenever I can. But sometimes I don't want to drive. I want to be out of the way. So let's see how this works. Baron, Bill, the cuffs out. Oh! 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 Good boys. That's all it took. And if we look the situation over, I don't know, it looks good. Of course, I did have a hinge here, but I cut it all off just so I could pull it out of here. But if anything, my wedge was not pointed quite far enough that way. But I really expected it to go down, and it did not. But with a little bit of extra help, it did. So guys, I'm not really planning on doing a heck of a lot of filming today. But it is April 1st, April Fool's Day, and I thought this was a good way to start the day off. Well, not really a good way, but a good, interesting way on April Fool's Day. Anyways, the tree went down, everything's fine there. The reason I'm in here is because it is such a nice day for logging. There's still enough snow that the logs slide nicely. I still need to get more logs out whenever I can, and back home on the farm, as I showed you in the first part of the video, the snow has pretty well gone, but it's still very, very wet there. So we need more time to dry there, and I'll show you even more on how I have come on those ditches and see how much they're going to help my fields. So anyways, we'll get this log cut up and get it out of here, and we'll see what else happens throughout the day. Là. Ha, 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 careful, ha, careful, ha, deep, ha, 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 deep, ha, 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 up, ha, ha, ba, ha, ba, ha, ba, ha, up, ba, ba. A little bit more. Ha. Ho. No. No. Well, guys, it's definitely getting to be easier logging right now with the less snow that we have. But it's surprising. Oh, even now. G. Careful. G. Ha. The horses still do not want to step off the trail, because they recall how much of a drop off it was, and they just don't want that. So they kind of try to stay away from getting off the trail. They fight me some even still, but not so bad. Anyways, I got that one log out. We'll limb this one up. I'll probably pull the whole length down a ways, down to the main trail here. Now, last time I was in here, I think last week, I logged one day, and I finished up by going through with the excavator and actually making a trail, plowing down through there. I thought if I could plow it down, it would freeze a little bit and it'll make for a better trail when I get back up here, and it surely has. I've got a nice trail there. And so anyways, I want to limb this up and pull the whole tree down to the trail, and I'll probably cut it in half somewhere and take it out in two pieces. Pretty good sized tree here. And that's what we'll do with this. I've got numerous trees around here cut, two that are marked. The forester has marked. There's two over there that we're gonna get. And there's quite a few down through this stretch down to the landing. But before that, I just wanted to talk to you guys just for a minute. Kind of at a point where I really would like some suggestions from you guys. Now, I know a lot of guys are giving comments and asking questions in the comments, and I'm doing a terrible job of answering them. Some of the comments that are coming on, one in particular I'm thinking of, it's from another country, and the language is such that I don't quite even understand what he's talking about. And I feel bad about that, but what am I supposed to do? But anyways, I feel that I've been doing this for about a little over 5 years now on YouTube and sharing what I've been doing, and it's almost getting same old type of thing. And even some of the people are even kind of implying that themselves and telling me that. And I don't know what to do about it. Should I just quit doing YouTube? Should I just continue doing what I'm doing, and those that want to watch it can watch it? Or maybe I've been thinking even recently that maybe I should try something different and kind of go right back to the beginning and just do more, maybe some series of how-to videos. I've done them before, but it seems like when you have an old video, nobody wants to go back to it, and they'd rather have something fresh and something new. If I did that, it'd be kind of the same old thing all over again also, but there might be a few more things that I think of that I might be able to put into those videos that I didn't put into the first ones. And I don't know. I really want you guys' input of what I should do, or what you would like to see on these videos that I'm doing. It's a lot of work to do videos, as most of you guys realize, and I don't mind doing them, but I just want to be doing something that you guys really want to watch. So please put in the comments some ideas, some thoughts that you guys are thinking that might benefit you if I did things a little bit different. When you have questions that come up, just random questions, it's so hard to fit them into a video, and so often I forget when it's time to even possibly put them into the video. And so that's kind of hard to do. I can't see myself answering on the computer all the questions. I'm just not very good at that. And so if you guys get some ideas, let me know what you'd be really wanting to watch, or maybe I should even cut back a little bit and not make so many videos and just do like one a week or so. But I don't really know what to do. Anyhow, I will get this log limbed up and then we'll skid it out of here. Ho, 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 ho. I cast out. Ho. Hi. Baby. Bye. Baby. Baby. Ho. So guys, if I was cutting for the commercial market, I'd want to have as many 16 footers as I could. And the last few years that I've been up here at the college, that's what we were doing. And then last fall, I guess it was, no, last spring, we kind of changed markets and we've been sending a lot down to the Amish close to me, guys that I know down there. And those guys don't want all 16-foot logs. They have, they build buildings, little buildings. They sell 2x4s, 2x6s to local people. They want a wide variety of different lengths. So that's why now I'm trying to make a wider variety of different lengths. So I'm looking at the tree and trying to get as straight of logs as possible. So if I've got a log that goes out 12 feet and then kind of crooks a little bit, I cut it 12 foot instead of making a 16 with a crooked 16. So straight logs are very important to me. So that's what I strive for. Also, some of the markets that I have want specifics. For example, they make a lot of sheds and they need a lot of 1x12s for board and batten siding for a lot of these sheds. And so a lot of these sheds are only 7 feet high. Well, we don't cut 7-foot logs. They're all 2-foot increments, 8s, 10s, 12s, 14s, and 16s. So I try to, when I have a nice, really nice straight big log that'll make 1x12s, I'll cut a lot of 14-footers for those guys. And that way they can get cut the lumber and then cut it in half to get 2 7s out of a 14. So that's what we strive to do. So here in this tree here, the butt log I think was a 14-footer, and this one here I think I'll probably go with another 14-footer. But I also have to realize that sometimes they need nice logs that are shorter too. So if there are any, sometimes I'll make them specifically for that. Also, another reason why I like some short logs into the mix, when we're trucking logs, my trucker has a triaxle truck, and so the bed on that truck is like 25 feet. It may be just a couple inches more than 25 feet. So because of that, if we were to put on a whole load of 16-footers, you can't get a lot on that truck. So, because you can't double them up. So we need to double them up. In other words, at the bottom, if they're just a little bit, I tend to cut them 6 inches of trim, meaning if they're 14-footers, I'll cut them 14/6. But if I make that just a little bit shorter, the Amish don't mind, and a lot of sawmills don't mind. But if I make it 4 inches of trim instead of 6, then we can actually double up 10s and 14s on the truck to get a lot more on the truck. And so that's what we try to do. Trucking costs a lot of money, so the more efficient you can do that, the better. So sometimes I'll cut them 6 inches of trim, and sometimes I'll cut back to 14, thinking that, well, maybe he can use that particular log to double up to get more logs on his load. So what I do, another thing I do, I don't think I've explained too much about, is I will, when I'm cutting logs that are more than one log to a hitch, I will score the logs at the place I want it cut. Now, when I say score the logs, all that means is taking my chainsaw and making a little groove around the whole, like 3 sides of the logs that you can do. And that way, when I get to landing, I can see that mark, and then I can cut it off at the landing. So this would be a 14-footer, and I'll show you what I mean by scoring it. Also, another thing I try to do all the time is put a rolling hitch on my trees, so when I pull it, it rolls the log out, and those limbs that were drove into the ground will be rolled up, and I can cut them now. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of limbs here. It doesn't even look like I limbed this tree up, but as you saw, I did. I just didn't get the ones down at the bottom. So I ended up cutting this, or marking this here, at 24 feet 8 inches. That gives me a 14-footer and a 10-footer. That also gives me one spot in his truck that he can double up the 14 and the 10. So that's what I'm doing. I'm also, because this log is up in the air, I chose to put my chain around it, because it's easy to do now, because when I cut this, it'll probably drop to the ground and make it harder to hitch the chain on. So as it turned out, it's still in the air a little bit. I could have put a chain on, but it's just, you just never know. So to be prepared is just always better. Cuffs up. Oh. We'll get them limbed up, but before I do that, I'm actually going to cut that tree right over there because this hitch is really too small, and I'm going to leave that there because that tree there, it's too long to take out the full length because of my corners. So I will pull it down to here and cut it down partially and take the two top logs out together. Good morning, everybody. So we are back on the farm today. It's a rainy day. This is Thursday, and we are not sure what we're going to do today, but I'll show you a few things. I'd like to get down and show you my ditches that I made at the beginning of this video, and if it stops raining at some point today, I'll try to do that. Duke and Earl need work, so I'll hitch them up to something, and we'll go down there. But I decided to take the time right now to clean out my water tub. It's been quite a while since I've cleaned it out now, and I'll show you how I do it. My barns aren't cleaned yet this morning, so what I'm going to do is just dump it right on the floor, and then it will be pushed right out with the water. Will kind of go right out with the manure, and it works fine that way. The floor will be wet all day long, but that's okay. So with this high bridge that we have that the tank is sitting on, it's pretty easy to tip it off. So there's still probably 4 or 5 inches of water in here. And I'd rather there wouldn't be quite that much, but there is. And so what I'm going to do is flip it down and tip it over and bring it back up, and then I'll turn the water on and put a little bit of water in here and get a rag and kind of wash it out a little bit and then tip it out again. So let's see what we can do. Watch out, Skip, let's go get wet. Sometimes it really freaks the horses out, but I've done enough. It doesn't seem to bother Baron too bad. Okay, so I'll go turn the water on and see if I can't get the tank a little bit cleaner. Ben, what are you doing? Get in here. Hey, hey, come on. Come on. Get in your stall. Get. Back. Back up. Back. Get in there. Hey. All right, lady, you ready to go out? Huh? Get. Get, lady. Bill. So as you can see, lady has a new horse that she gets to hang around with, at least on days when Bill's not working. Of course, as most of you guys know, Lady and Bill was a pair that I used for years and years that were so good. And but they've always got along good. And of course, this stretch without being together, it's been changed things a little bit. Now, they've been together here in the last couple of weeks a few times, so it's not like they're going to fight or anything, or not too much. But anyways, since Ken's been sold, Lady needs company sometimes, and Bill actually has got along with her pretty well. She's a little bit hard to get along with sometimes with some horses. But anyways, they'll be fine. There's hay in the feeder out there, and I'll probably be letting Baron out in this other barnyard by himself because I hope to work Duke and Earl. So Lady, as you can see, is headed down to the field. She's not going to the feeder because she's had feed inside her from earlier this morning, but there's a stream down at the end of the field where she gets her water, and that's where she's headed. Bill's already had water here in the barn, so he's not thirsty right now, but he goes down there also when he's thirsty. Maybe he'll go even now, I don't know. He's not that terribly hungry because he's had feed for a while this morning also. So anyways, let's get on to some other stuff. So my next job here today is a job that I really hate. I hate doing mechanical stuff, always have. But anyways, this skid steer, the one that I normally have in the woods, has been giving us troubles all winter long. And we have not even figured out what exactly the problem is. We've just tried thing after thing after thing, and we still can't figure out what's going on. We've had 2 different mechanics look at it, and they both are baffled as to why it's not working. When it's running, it runs fine, but it just starts so hard. And our next try is the fuel solenoid, which I know there's some issues with it because when you take it out, it kind of spins. I got to take a pair of vice grips to hold it tight to actually get it unthreaded. If you guys dealt with this, you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, I'm going to get that out and I'll show you what it is. And then I got a brand new one that I got to go pick up, and and we're going to try that and see if that makes a difference. We've, just so you guys know, if you got some ideas, we've changed the fuel filters, we've changed the fuel pump, we've changed the injectors. We've, what else have we done? Seems like we've done everything that we could do, and it's still not starting good. It just takes forever to churn over. It's just not getting fuel. And what exactly the problem is, we don't know. But the solenoid seems to work fine sometimes, but then it just doesn't work when it's cold, and when it's been sitting for a little while after the skid steer is running, it starts right back up again, no problem at all. But you give it 24 hours, then it's the same thing all over again. It's like it's losing its prime, and it's not bringing the fuel up from the tank to the injectors. So that's what the problem is. So I'm going to get this out of here. And of course it has to be way, 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 way down there. Miserable place to get to. But we'll see if we can't get it out of here. Okay, so I got the wire off. Get this cover moved so I can work better. So now I got to get the vice grips on this and unscrew it. Fortunately, I had it off not too long ago, and so it shouldn't be on too tight. Just to experiment, I did actually, for you guys that know more about mechanics than I did several times take the solenoid completely off to see if it started better without it on. But then, of course, it won't shut off. So then you got to quick shove it back in there while everything's hot. But that's what I did. It seemed to help a little bit as far as starting, but not an awful lot. So I don't know if that's the problem. But anyways, this whole outer casing will actually spin. So I'm holding the threads right now, and I can spin this outer casing. So does that mean something's messed up with the solenoid? I don't know. but we're just kind of grasping at straws. And this is the next piece that we've got to try and see if that is the problem. I know this is not supposed to spin like this as two pieces, but it is. And as a matter of fact, I never will get the stupid thing off because it felt like I was coming off because I kept turning it and turning it and turning it, and nothing was happening. So I called up one guy and he said, well, you gotta, sometimes that happens, you gotta take vice grips and squeeze really tight right here so that it stays connected to the threads so you can unscrew it. And that's what I did. So I'm gonna go get the new solenoid and put it on and see if that makes a difference. Okay, I got the new solenoid in. Let's see how much of a difference it makes. It's a little bit warmer today. It's almost 50 degrees, very windy, but it is a little warmer, so it does seem to start better when it's cold, when it's warmer outside, but it seems more of a lack of fuel than a cold issue problem. So let's see what we can do. It's starting, but not very good. Okay, it's running, but that didn't seem to help much at all. Still took forever to start up, so I'll keep you informed as time goes on. Okay. Oh. Oop. Yep. Get in. Yep. Yep. Happening. Hey. Hey. Back. 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 Hey. Ho. 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 Alright, careful step. Well guys, it's finally stopped raining, so I figured better take this time and get showing you guys what's going on in our ditches. I can see right now on Earl's Percheron. So Earl is on the left and Duke is on the right. And they haven't been worked for a couple days, so they're feeling pretty good, especially Duke. But as you can see, Earl's Percheron is twisted a little bit on the top side here with the red part. But, you know, I'm not going to fix it yet. Let these guys get a little walking in them. And why take the chance of them doing something stupid while I'm trying to fix it? I'll just go a little ways and then I'll stop and fix it. So the last 2 days I was able to log at Paul Smith's, and last night it was starting to dry out a little bit, so I actually jumped on the four-wheeler and went down and checked out the ditches that I had made, and they were looking pretty good. Things had really dried out. But last night, apparently we got a lot of rain. I was tired and I slept right through the whole night. Never woke up at all. And but my neighbor said at about 2:30 this morning it really had a lot of thunder and lightning and a lot of rain, and it's obvious. There's rain, there's puddles everywhere. But that's okay. That's why I made these ditches, to help solve all this wet problems. And so let's go see how well it did. Very windy today, so I'm hoping you can hear the squishy squish squish when the horses are walking through this mud. It is pretty darn wet. So like I said, this is Thursday, and Brenda's coming home tomorrow. She's been down the whole week at our son and daughter-in-law's place with our 6 grandchildren. A new one was just born, and so she spent the week down there with them. So she's coming back tomorrow, which will be great to have her home again. When I talk to the tiling guys again, I've got to talk to them and tell them what's going on and explain that we have some serious issues in this one spot and the one tile that we have. So right down through here, you can see up ahead of us, there's that black pipe sticking out of the ground. And that's the start of the 6-inch main tile that goes all the way down through that field and all the way down to where the cattle are. You can hardly see them. But that's a 6-inch main line that 4-inch lines will be connected into, and some have already been connected into it. But what's happening whenever we get a spring rain like we got last night, or even you know, a week ago when we got that 5 inches of snow, we have water coming out of the woods there, and it is way more than my 6-inch line can handle. Way more. I mean, as you can see, there's a regular stream running right down through that field and making a real mess. Now, this water by tomorrow will have stopped running through the field, I'm almost certain. But for right now, it's running down through the field and getting that field wetter. And so I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to put another 6-inch main tile down beside the first 6-inch main tile, so that it can keep up with some of this water that's coming off in the spring. This only happens in the spring when we have these heavy rainfalls. It's not a big deal if it runs through the field some, but the problem is we have still, eventually I want to, and I'm planning on tiling the whole right-hand side of my field up here, down closer to the barn. That hasn't been tiled yet, and all those 4-inch tile drains will come down. No, got to tend to my horses. Like I said, they're feeling pretty good. So all them 4-inch tile drains that will be in that field will come down into the whatever main tile we have down here. So I'm pretty certain we're going to have a second main tile coming through here. A cap step, careful. So let's head over and we'll go around the field and I'll show you where we were running the excavator the other day. So I've now achieved to make a ditch around my whole perimeter of my field. And as you can see right here, this ditch is quite full of water because there's a tremendous amount of water coming out of the woods down into the field. And so the ditch catches it and diverts it to a tile to get it off the field. Without that ditch and without the tiles, all of that water would be right into my field and it would make it just terribly, terribly wet, which is what I've been dealing with for the past 30 years. Now this field here was pretty well bone dry again yesterday, and now any low spot is wet again. But it really won't take long at all to dry right out. I should check our rain gauge and see what's going on and empty it so that when we get another batch of rain, we know what we end up with. I could check it now and tell you how much rain is in there, but I don't know when it was dumped last, probably last fall. So it wouldn't do us, I wouldn't be able to accurately tell you how much rain we got last night. So 2 or 3 years ago now, I took and made this ditch to our right and put the dirt from the ditch up into this roadway that I'm walking on right now. And because of that, even as wet as it is, I can walk on high and dry ground with the horses if I want to exercise them or anything going around the field. I haven't fixed my fence through here. A lot of the fence has been broken down from the heavy snow and from the deer running through it. And this will all have to be fixed. But I haven't fixed it yet because I wanted to wait until my ditch was done and before I put the fence back in. And I guess this little section right here I could fix even now. But over here where we're headed, where you saw me running the excavator in the first part of the video, that's semi-done, but I still have to come back through with the excavator and smooth out and level off the roadway and fix anything in the ditch that might need fixing. When you dig a ditch when the water is running, it makes it really nice to know, kind of get an idea where to put the ditch. But when you don't have a laser system and just got to go by eye, a lot of times you mess up, or at least I do, and you have spots that are too high and the water doesn't flow properly. So I can fix them in a couple days from now when it's dried a little bit more. Oh, here is my main canal that takes the water from this end of the field. And you can see, just barely, you can see my black 6-inch main line there, and the water is over the top of the main line. There's just so much water coming out of the main line, plus coming out of these ditches on either side. So we just have a lot of water here. I calf up. So as I come to my new spot here, I'm not going to go up onto, what is going to be my roadway around the field, because it's still too soft, although it's not too bad. But this has to be leveled off a little bit with the excavator. But as you can see, the water is really flowing down through this ditch, and all this water, had I not made this ditch, would be flowing right onto this field and making this field tremendously muddy and bad. So this now goes down through the woods to the little stream that's down there, and it stays off of my field because of the ditch, and also because of this higher roadway that I'm going to end up having to keep the water out of the field. Careful step. Wherever there's a dead furrow, it hasn't been smoothed up enough to be level. So any place there's a small amount of a hole or a ditch, we end up with water. So that's why this here also is water. And there is a possibility right here, because we've always had water right here, that there could be a spring even in here somewhere that makes it even worse. Oh, right here you can see I don't have my roadway such that to be near ready to finish, and I've actually got kind of two trenches coming off my field and running into the ditch, and that is because we do have a lot of water out here, and I just wanted to get the water off the field before I finish making my roadway, which would kind of dam it up and stop any water from flowing into the ditch. And but this is generally won't be a problem after you get down to normal weather. So I have one other spot I want to show you guys. Calf stop. It's so nice with horses. I mean, as you can see, we're sinking right into ankle deep mud. You wouldn't be driving through here with a tractor, that's for sure. I mean, maybe the big old four-wheel drive tractors, but they surely probably wouldn't try even if they could do it, because what a ruts that they would make by having just the horses and this sled. Really, there's nothing there. These potholes or hoof holes I should say, would just settle right in. And of course this sled does no damage because it just slides over the top of everything. But it's extremely, extremely wet up here on the farm. This is pretty normal. I can remember when we moved here back in 1991, out by the road, I needed to put a new fence in. So I remember being out there the first few days of April, because we moved here the 1st of April, and I got right out there and started putting fence up almost immediately. And it was so wet out there, it was just like this. I mean, they were right to almost their knees in mud as I was pulling a sled through to carry my fence post and put it in the fence. But now, with our tiling, things have changed quite a bit. But even with tiling, you can see after heavy rains, it's really wet until the water has time to find its way through the soil and into the tiling. I sure hope with all this wind that we're having right now, I hope this audio's working out all right. I got my fancy audio on with the wind thing on it, which really helps keep it from hearing the noise from the wind. Somebody was asking in one of the comments why I parked my wagon there, and I thought I explained it, but that I use just to tie horses when they need a rest. Sometimes I would tie them to the wagon while I'm working in the fields, and then I can go back up to the farm and be doing something else up there. It's so nice this time of year when I cannot be doing any field work that I have something to do with the horses to keep them in shape. And I used to have to drive a sled up and down the blacktop, which I never really liked to do. And now I don't have to because of my high dry trail around my field. I can do it that way. At least that would be the way it's going to be eventually when I get it done. Oh, just remembered I've been running my mouth and I forgot to fix his britchin. Cuffs up. That looks better. The people that do the tiling here are a Mennonite crew, and I doubt they watch YouTube, so they probably aren't going to see this video, but maybe I can take a clip to them instead of them having to come here. I can show them on camera how much water is running down through this field. I was thinking earlier what I should be doing today, what could I be doing today, and I was thinking I could go out and pick some stones and whatever odds and ends that are out in my field that I want to plow this spring. But as wet as it is and windy as it is, I probably won't even do that. Oh. Oh. Este pa. A ver. Ah. A ver, ah. So if you guys remember, I used to have a huge ditch all the way down through there, but since we have the tiled up, I was able to fill that ditch in. So now, unfortunately, the water just going everywhere. So we're coming across here. Oh! And it's just, oh my goodness, just water flowing everywhere. 2 days ago, or last night probably, there was no water here at all, not a bit. Then with all the rain we had last night, it's coming everywhere, down through the furrow, down through the plowed ground, just everywhere. But by tomorrow, the water will stop coming out of the woods, and this will be no water here at all, but it'll still take a while to dry things out. Whereas if I had another 6-inch tile down through there, none of this water would be here, and it would not be that wet at all. And cuffs up. Careful. So here's another problem I'm dealing with. Some of the hay that I fed out here this winter, they ate it right down to about nothing, but a lot of it was oat hay that they just didn't really like the taste of it. And so there was a few spots, like right here for example, that a lot of hay is still left over. Basically it's nothing but straw. But I've got to do something with this because there's no way this is going to plow under like it is. I did try the other day. Oh! I did come out here with the horses in the spring tooth, thought maybe I could kind of drag it around the field, but that did not work. It just kind of balled up into a bigger pile. And so I've got some ideas as to how to get rid of some of that stuff because there's no way I can plow that under. I'll just plug up on the plow something terrible. I cuffed up. So after the other day, after I had finished up where I'd shown you on the video, I brought the excavator over here and I did some work on this side of the field also. Of course, this is a field that was tiled last fall, as some of you guys probably saw. But anyways, this was the last thing I did. Oh, just remembered, Duke still does not like that excavator. Here we are coming upon it. So I'm just gonna stay right here. Oh, Duke. Oh. So over there, I ended up, maybe I'll go up to that. Careful step, careful. Oh, no, 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 oh, 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 some horses, oh, takes a long time, to get them over with of an issue that they have, no, The problem when they're fighting like this, I've had them fight like this, and fight so hard, and actually lay right down on the pole, type of fighting, and break a pole, and then you're in big trouble. So, as you can see, he's not over his fear of that excavator. He hasn't seen it for several months, but it's still a big yellow monster to him. But we'll get him over eventually. Anyways, if you can see on the other side of the excavator, you can see all that water pouring down through from the woods, and it goes down through that ditch, and obviously that tile also would not begin to handle all the water. Now, one of the reasons is that's just a 4-inch tile that comes into there, and it just can't handle the water. I dammed it up on Monday, and as you can see, it broke the dam down and the water's running over there. Same situation here. By tomorrow, the water flow will have slowed down, so that would go back down to normal. But I'll have to talk with them, and we may end up putting another tile even here, going into that pipe, the big pipe, and having 2 tiles going down through the field to keep this field portion from being quite so wet when it gets really rainy. Careful step, G. Careful, 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 careful. That wasn't too bad, was it, Duke? There. So, and up here, this is a ditch we made several years ago also, which has worked really well. Of course, there's not a lot of water in it because it doesn't seem to get a lot of water flow from the woods right there. But we come down to this spot here where we have another pipe that the tile is connected into, and as you can see, it has not been able to quite handle all of the water, although nothing has broken out, so it's handling most of the water because there's nothing overflowing hardly here at all, just a tiny little bit coming through, so that's good. A couple step, G, careful. Careful. So this stretch here is new ditching that I did on Monday, and as you can see, I had to take up all the fence posts and wire and throw it out of my way so that I could do the ditching. And this has always been a really, really wet section of the field. Somebody was out here shoveling. Forgot to shovel by the looks of things. But anyways, there's a lot of water coming from the woods there that used to be getting into this field and making this field very wet. And now with this new ditch that I made, it'll go down to that pipe and then down through the tiles and out of my fields. So as soon as it's dry enough to level out my roadway there, I'll do that, and then I'll have to put all the fences back up so that we can get some of the fencing work done. So that's going to work great. That's going to work great taking and eliminating all the water that would usually be right in this field. Well guys, I think I've rambled on long enough about tiling and ditches. I'm pretty excited about it though. It's going to make a huge difference in my farm. And so I hope you either learned a little bit or had enough enjoyment to it to keep yourself here to the end of the video. But anyways, this is going to do it for today. You guys have a great day and we shall see you next time. Kasta. Bien. Skip is finding out a new pastime he seems to be liking. That is jumping in water, playing in the mud. Let's see if we can bushwhack it right through this mess. Feel there. G. Careful. I don't think my Massey would make it through there. My Massey being my tractor.